I can get this out to anybody else too.
What I have is some fairly simple trend data and some other information, and it's by topic heading. The first heading that we have is free and reduced lunch count. This provides information longitudinally from 2003-2004 school year to the present school year. What you're going to find, 2003-2004 school year, free and reduced lunch count was 10.3%. 2004-2005 was 11.9. 2005-2006, 14.1. 2006-2007, 16.4. Presently, it's 19%. So over the course of approximately 5 years, we have doubled the free and reduced lunch count district-wide. Second piece of information has to do with law enforcement support. Since 2002, the district has added 4 full-time police staff to the school support team. And included within that number are 3 district officers who are employed within the district's Department of Public Safety. So in other words, the district has 3 uniformed officers on staff. In terms of transportation, currently the district has added buses due to following multi-family housing complexes, the Villas, which is at Adams Dairy, and that is in the James Walker Elementary Service area. And then we have Gateway Plaza, that's in the Thomas Boltican Service area. And looking at what that means, in that situation, per unit cost, 65 passenger bus is approximately $70,000. The cost to operate that bus is approximately $30,000. 16 of that would be for driver salary benefits. The remaining $14,000 would be for fuel and maintenance costs. Now, all other multi-family complexes in the community have been absorbed into the routing system as with any other subdivision. So it's basically we've been able to handle without making any addition as far as buses. The projected growth for a multifamily unit, and just to kind of give you a frame or a reference as far as cost of educating an individual student, 2007 that cost would have been approximately $8,302 per student. Looking at the situation regarding, and the information I have, it has to do with rent. Rent exceeding $750, it's difficult for the district to really accurately determine that. What we have come up with is rent below $750, and of course we're talking more than 1 bedroom. That is approximately 0.5 students. So,
per unit.
Right, per unit. So that's the information that I have.
Great, thank you very much. Moving along here. We're going to have a group discussion, but kind of everyone has a schedule of the meetings, and Dr. Browse and Mr. Parker said they're available at all the scheduled meetings. We're basically going to meet every 2 weeks on Thursdays from 4 to 6. If anyone needs a schedule, we'll give you a schedule of it. And then in August, we're going to meet on the 7th. I can give you the dates. We're going to meet on June 12th, June 26th, July 10th, July 24th, and then we're going to meet 2 weeks in a row because we're thinking we're going to have a lot to do. August 7th and August 14th, it'll be the same time, it'll be the same place, 4 to 6, in the East Conference Room. On August 18th, we'll make our presentation to the City Council, and then the moratorium expires on the 19th, so we're cutting this pretty close. The goal will be, and of course this is going to have to be flexible, but the hope would be in 2 weeks that we will look over codes. Staff has been investigating different kinds of codes throughout the country, and new types of codes that may work in Blue Springs. We're going to look over the Lee Summit codes and what parts we think will work for us and not work for us. Hopefully we can kind of accomplish that in one meeting. If not, we'll need 2 meetings. Michael Parker is going to bring us a guest from the Home Builders Association to talk with us about what they did in Lee Summit and how those codes worked and what parts they implemented that were successful. And then the next 2 meetings after that, we're going to go over design and incorporating some kind of design standards into our codes. At that time, Mr. Tom Williams, who is an architect and has been a developer out in Chapman Farms, has been gracious enough to say he'll come and present us with some of his ideas. He's got a lot of great ideas as far as things that we can incorporate into our codes. We're going to have a guest speaker from the HPA talk to us about design standards. I know that staff is working on a slideshow. You want to tell us a little bit about, you attended in Charlotte, a homes tour that you thought would be helpful.
Last year there's the HBA, the Kansas City HBA puts on annually a tour of similarly developed or sized metropolitan areas to Kansas City, and Charlotte was one last year. And we actually were able to tour a number of houses that you'd already seen built here in downtown with the new form-based code. So it was really eye-opening to see what kind of new designs are out there for multifamily and other type of residential development. So we had a lot of photos from that, a number of other photos from Newtown, St. Charles, over in St. Louis, a number of other photos were accumulated from other sources as well. So for a discussion on design.
So kind of our goal is to have 2 to 3 of our sessions on design. We can spend a lot of time on design, and then the last 2 sessions to kind of fine tune exactly what we want to recommend to the City Council, what policies we think will work for Blue Springs, and get our presentation together and what we'll recommend to the City Council. In the future, we have discussed we want to have charrettes with the builders so they can give us input. We've only got 90 days, so we're definitely not going to have time for charrettes or anything. So we're going to try and make our recommendations to the City Council and then make the recommendation to the Council that they have a series of charrettes with the developers and public hearings to get input, not just the building community, but from our residents. We're obviously not going to have time to do that, in less than 90 days, but that is definitely something that we want to do. That would be one of our recommendations right off the get-go, so we're going to try and do that. At this time, we were going to have a group discussion. If anyone had any comments, any member of the committee that needs information or would like staff to help them get information, we need to talk to Mr. Allen, Mr. Callum. They have a lot of resources available to them. I know that Mr. Allen, you've been working with the American Planning Association. Michael Parker's been working with the HBA. If anyone in the audience has resources available to us, get in touch with us. The more information we have, the better recommendations we'll make. If we do schedule a field trip, you know what, I should start a list. Anyone who wants to, I'll leave a list here. If you want to put your name and phone number down here, I'll give you a call. And if we do a field trip to Lee Summit, you're more than welcome to come along with us. We're probably going to schedule that at a time different than our regular meetings, just because that's going to take some logistics and some traveling. So I'm going to pass the sheet around. If anybody wants to put their name and phone number and wants to be contacted if we do an additional field trip, we'll let you know about it.
We're also trying to get the National Multifamily Housing Council and the ULI to come fly down to chat with us about everything if their time allows with their schedule and us. See what happens if we can get them.
And if anyone has ideas for guest speakers that would be helpful to us, we want to get as much input and help as we can get on this committee. The goal, and probably my closing remark would be, the goal for this committee is to work with the development community, to work with as many groups that we can, get as much input as we can, research this as carefully as we can in a very short amount of time to make the best recommendations possible, to hopefully change those numbers around where our residents think that the multifamily that we're building in Blue Springs is just the kind that they would like to see in their community, and hopefully change that percentage where people are happy with it. So if anybody else had anything they wanted to add, we got done in
Actually, I got a couple of questions.
well, you go right ahead.
You can get quite a few questions from developers and builders. We understand that things that have already been zoned, possibly with the implementing of design standards and all, that's going to definitely affect their properties, but their new projects that they're building. But as far as things that have already been zoned, the first phase is already in construction, and there's a couple other phases on the project. How's that going to affect those projects? And that's something that
That's a great question,
I
and
know.
I had actually asked Mr. McDonald, our city attorney, to be here. He was unable to attend the meeting because I figured we'd have some legal questions. He's doing some research right now into the legalities of at what point in time it comes under the new code and the old code, and he's definitely going to be at our next meeting and can answer all those questions because, you know, I've asked him those questions, and I think he's at this time doing some heavy research into the legalities and, you know, when it comes under the new ordinance. It basically, when we have adopted other types of new codes, there's a window there where you let them get used to the codes before they're put into place. But that would probably be an answer.
I just see a project in the first phase, and then the second phase it
Exactly.
completely changes, and it's
And they've already presented what it's
gonna
going to
look
look
like.
like and what it's going to do. But normally there's a window in between, just like, I hate to use a smoking ban, for the smoking ban, you know, we had, was it 90 days, it took effect. So, I mean, generally, we give a window of opportunity in between, you know, when it takes control.
And this might be a little premature with everything going on, but especially if there's talk of any type of rail system or going down with downtown, is there time that we can talk with Mark or any type of the transportation, and with out south, especially with the multifamily that's projected to go out there, setting up some type of transportation district to hopefully bring those downtown if we're able to get a rail system that use the rails to get downtown.
That'd be something really interesting to look into,
But it's a little premature on that, I understand, but it'd be good things to look at.
definitely. But then I'll list of guest speakers next.
We should have a little bit more updates tomorrow. Mayor Funkhauser's having a kind of a regional summit with mayors tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to be attending that meeting. Councilman Reed's going to be representing Mayor Ross tomorrow. So if anybody's seen it in the paper, but
Bring us information.
we were pretty excited that at least in his draft plan it showed a commuter rail spur coming right into downtown Blue Springs, which we're excited about. And our downtown master plan has master plan for that stop there, and we think, you know, that 5 to 10 year window would radically change what downtown would be in the future. I mean, it would completely change the dynamic of downtown if that were to happen. So I ran some quick numbers on that. They had some numbers buried in there, and I always like to look at the numbers first, but probably don't mean anything. But it looked to be about a $60 million proposition for that spur. But again, that would be a commuter rail line, which is different than light rail, and it would travel along the Kansas City Southern rail line and the big heavy cars that you see, as opposed to light rail, which has its own dedicated right-of-way. But we were excited that it's at least being discussed on part of the mayor's regional plan, so we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. So, but the debate is about when the funding source might hit the ballot and whether the county, Jackson County, puts that on the ballot as opposed to an individual city doing that. So it'd be Platte, Clay, and Jackson County all putting that on the ballot, and he's proposing for November at this point. So during the presidential election, the Eastern Jackson County mayors have had some heartburn with putting that issue on in November. They don't quite think it's too fast. There's a lot of details to be worked out in terms of mobilizing people, and there's a lot of people think presidential elections aren't real great to put ballot issues on, but that's more political strategies. But anyway, I just wanted to give that as context.
Mr. Allen.
Madam Chairman, if I could just help you maybe connect with Mr. Parker in terms of the data here, with the information that staff has put together.
That'd be terrific.
Just real quick, it does match up very closely. Again, I maybe wasn't entirely clear with the tables here that have actual titles for these, but on page 2 it talks about the total number of units, and that's what I think matches up with what we see here. Before I do that though, that table at the bottom of page 2